I'm looking up, that just means I'm looking at my screen. So,
Okay, cool. So we are now recording. So I always ask one question in the beginning. What is your name, and tell us a little about yourself.
my name's Dewgan. I'm really into like artsy type stuff, like drawing and just doing like casual things. I sometimes I'm into music. My one friend really is. So, uh, and that's about it, really. Honestly, I
Wait,
live in like a small town, not really too big. Near a city.
cool.
So kind of got that.
Wait. Sorry, I didn't get your first name.
Dewgan.
Dugan. Okay, Dugan. Okay, I'll just go by Dugan. Okay, cool. So, what's going on in life? Are you playing some like COD or some battle royale games?
I'm really into Siege, like first person shooter type games, like quick thinking, like strategy type games, if you know what I mean, like
Oh yeah.
fast paced.
Have you played
But that's
Warzone?
Warzone. Yeah, I played a little bit of Warzone, but I didn't really get too much into it.
Hmm. So, one thing that I talk a lot about on here is just like where the country is these days, and just like what I don't know. What are your thoughts on what
Politics, like, BLM and stuff.
politics? Yeah. Well, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts
I'm
on
really
that
into that
stuff?
type of stuff. I watch that all the time. So you got a nice person to talk to about that.
Okay. Well, so what is your perspective on that?
My perspective really on the whole BLM situation is like it's a good cause like in the books, but I think the name is something that really derives people of what the action's really about. It's really about saving black lives from the police, but I don't think it's necessarily from the police, it's more from the system. And I feel like they're kind of being used to persuade people that it's from the police and not the system, if you know what I mean. It's because not
Mm.
all police just go out there just to harm colored people for no reason or minorities for no reason. It's not going to help anything. Like them doing that isn't going to make their lives better or make anybody else's lives better. Nobody becomes a policeman to do that, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to harm people.
So
And that's what
yeah.
I think they're trying to derive from it, is make police look bad in their eyes.
Oh man, okay, I have like three questions right off the bat. So, are you saying that you think Black Lives Matter is intentionally or unintentionally going against the police?
I think it's a good cause in general, like stop black people from getting killed from unnecessarily violent, like violence that doesn't need to happen.
Hmm.
Like, but I think driving it off the George Floyd situation, if you know what I'm talking about, because this is all derived off that and just spiraled downhill from there. If you know what I mean, the rioting, the looting, that isn't going to help anything. And then there is peaceful protesters, yes, but the rioters and looters ruin that all for them. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the system, right? That Black Lives Matter is really focusing on upending the system rather than the police. For you, what do you define as the system? What is that?
The system, they're trying to like underrule the government more like than the policemen themselves. Like the policemen could use better training more like, instead of like thinking about undermining the system, completely getting rid of it, abolishing it, and creating a new one. I think they could give the policemen better training, like more martial arts, instead of having to, refer to their sidearm and shoot somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So
that
what?
instead of like,
I'll go for it.
no, no, you can talk. I'm good.
So in terms of the government, like what do you think are the things that are happening in government or in our culture, right? Like that is keeping that's keeping the hate boiling. Like what is it about our culture that is making hate so prevalent these days?
Media mostly. The
Mm.
way people try to persuade.
Could you
Media is
yeah, could you
something
talk
that
more
has
about
a
that?
big influence on people's lives. Like, it's not more like people look at something and they don't try to second judge it. They don't try to get a second opinion on it. They think that, and that's all they think. They don't try to look at more than one source. So, like, what I like to try to do is try to look from all perspectives and try to, I make my opinion off of that. I think, like, that's why I think the BLM is a good movement in general, but I don't think it's pushed in the right way, if you know what I mean.
Mm. So what like when you look for news, you look to try to educate yourself. Where do you go to learn about things?
Um, Mostly media, because that's really the only place I can really go. Like
like
Instagram, stuff like
oh,
watch videos and stuff about it.
okay. So you go. So instead of going to like CNN or Fox or MSNBC,
Main news sources, yeah. But
you
most of the people I watch derive off those anyways. Like I still hear a lot about those websites and news sources anyways.
okay. So what are your thoughts of social media? Like, in what ways is it good, and in what ways do you think it's bad? It's detrimental.
In ways that it's good is that it's free speech. You can say whatever you want on there. But the problem with that is you can say whatever you want, but Facebook and stuff like that, if they don't like what you say, they'll take it down instantly. And that's the problem with it. People shouldn't be allowed to do that, no matter what. They shouldn't be allowed to take away your free speech, no matter what. Free speech is one of the amendments. They shouldn't be allowed to just take it away because it's their company and they label it as that. You can't label words.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Feel like a kind of a tricky thing there is like the idea of hate speech, right? What are your thoughts on like if someone goes on to someone else's page and calls them the N word, or like starts like going, saying things that
I
are
think
really hateful?
hate speech is different from a call to action, because a call to, like saying go kill this person is way worse than saying a derogatory term that doesn't really mean much in the end. It's a word that was derived from slavery, yes, but that isn't going to kill anyone. Saying go kill somebody, that could have a chance of ending somebody's life, and that's what's horrible about it. But saying a word like that, that's just to try to make you mad and try to derive something out of you and make somebody else just laugh at you. And that's what I don't understand. People just take it too seriously.
Mm.
Like when somebody says something like that, it's better to just ignore it and leave it at that. It's not gonna hurt you anyway. Yes, you'll look at it and you'll be like, "That's a horrible thing to say," but I don't think you should be imprisoned. You shouldn't have serve any criminal time for saying what you want to, and that's what I think it's about.
Hmm. So your thoughts of cancel culture is that it shouldn't exist, pretty much. Like
Cancel
you.
culture is horrible. I don't think anybody should be canceled, the left or right. It shouldn't be anyway.
So, man, I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of pretty well thought out opinions. What do you think is kind of the root of all of this? Like when you kind of debate your friends and stuff or talk about these things, like what does it come down to? What do we need to change to really kind of actually alter the system?
I think tearing them down some of the older ones would be a good idea, but it's not more about tearing them down, it's renewing them, making them better than what they are already.
Could you talk about that? Talk about those more specifically. Like specifically, which systems do you think should be dismantled?
Policing,
And
definitely. Schooling should definitely be one of those. Policing should be one of those. But I think what they should do with policing is give them better training, a lot better training. So it's more of detaining, not like going to your sidearm and trying to shoot somebody. They're the police, not the military, is what I want to think about it like. I don't think they're even close to being like the military, even though like the rioters and stuff, they got whatever happened there, they got gassed and whatever. But I don't think that they had to go to those because they weren't properly trained to handle them perfectly. Like if you know what I'm talking about,
and what about
like
schooling?
rubber bullets and everything. What about schooling?
Yeah.
Um, I think we could definitely have better schooling for poorer like cities, like places that really need the money. Government could derive like that money to, but it's more about the teachers and the parents than it is about the money. I think households could be a lot better, and teaching could be a lot better, in my personal opinion. And
Mm.
everything going on with code and everything, people aren't really focusing on learning because it's all online. And from where I stand, I really know people don't focus on it, at least around me.
So I think I agree with all what you're saying. In terms of helping to build better families, how do you think we could? How do you think that we as a society could do that? I mean, it's hard to legislate that. You can't legislate that, you know.
I think it's more of just teaching people to be better parents in the future. You can't really fix it now. It's more of a long-term thing. So like there's no like immediate fix, and there never will be an immediate fix. So it's more like People just got to learn for themselves, or you got to help them learn.
Very cool. Very interesting. Um, could I ask you like what state you live in?
PA.
Okay, all right. That's one of my home states too. I uh, grew up like 5 years in Pittsburgh. Interesting. So, have you traveled much?
I've been to Maryland, but the furthest state I've been to is probably South Carolina, North Carolina, around there.
Are there any other countries that you'd be interested in kind of traveling to, or any cultures that you don't know that you'd want to learn more about?
South American countries mostly. I think I would be interested in, like Brazil, maybe. Probably like a place I would like to see.
Why is that? Could I ask you why?
I don't know, no really specific reason. Just
Yeah,
South America sounds
you
like an
just kind of
interesting
want
place to see.
to. Dude, Brazil has like amazing beaches and stuff like that. The Amazon, it's amazing. Um,
I bet it
how
is.
how about well, yeah, I mean, I've never been, but I mean, it looks like it does. How about religion for you? Do you think much about religion or God or spirituality?
I believe there is a higher being, but I'm not necessarily Christian, if you know what I mean. I believe there is something, but do I necessarily believe it's God or something? No, but I still do have morals. I have my own set of morals. It's kind of like my own, what I think, kind of religion.
Hmm. Could you talk about like what you think is the core of your personal religion?
The core really comes from like trying to be the best you can without getting in other people's way, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Without
And I
like,
think
no.
I really just try to help myself more than I try to let people help me, if you know what I mean.
Very interesting. Really cool. Um, yeah. Do you have any other thoughts or things that we haven't really talked about you that you think like other people may find interesting?
Not specifically, no.
Hmm. What is, I guess, one last question on my end is when you kind of talk to your friends about issues and stuff, like, how do you think your opinions are different from theirs? Like, what do you think is the thing that makes you you in a debate or in a conversation?
In a debate, I sometimes, like before, I used to be really like, you have to believe in what I think or you're wrong. And I still sometimes am like that, but it's over the small things. But over the big things, it's more like whatever you believe it for a reason. It may be because of wrong reasons, or it may be because of right reasons. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not going to go out my way to change your mind unless it's possible.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, Dugan, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for for sharing your thoughts and opinions, and I feel like yeah, I guess one or two more questions of stuff that we haven't talked about is what are your interests like in terms of like do you think that you're interested in going into the arts like after high school or like where do you see yourself in that respect?
I really see myself becoming a teacher of a sorts, or an art teacher. I really think I would be good at molding young people's minds, like helping them learn. And I think an art teacher is the perfect thing. Let people do what they want, let them experience things for themselves while also being there to give them a helping hand.
Hmm. Are
I think
your
that's something I'd really be interested in, or the military.
Huh. Well, that's so. What is it about? I can understand the art teacher side from our conversation, but I don't see what interests you about the military. For you, what is it that calls to you with that?
I mean, I haven't really looked too much in the military and what they're doing now, but like I feel like it's something I would just be interested in, like just trying out and seeing for myself, really.
Mhm. Are your is your family pretty supportive of your interests? You think?
I talked to my mom about art and stuff, but I never talked to her about military or anything.
Hmm. And your dad?
Me and my dad have a rocky relationship,
I see.
but I haven't really talked to him too much about the military thing. But the art, he does want me to really get into sports and stuff though, because I'm kind of athletic. I wouldn't say I'm super athletic, but not like some all star.
But it is part of your life.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm naturally born lanky. Been like that for a while.
Cool. Interesting. And how about siblings? Do you have a cool relationship to? Do you have any?
Yeah, I have a really strong relationship with my older brother. His name's Josh, just his first name, Josh Derricott, if you know what I'm talking about. He's really into like teaching as well. I would say all of us are. My younger brother, well, he's still older, but he's like almost the same age as me, Drake. He wants to become a history teacher, the same as my older brother. So we're all really into that teaching sort of thing.
Is your mom or your parents teachers at all?
No, my mom's in school right now for college, and my dad he works in construction business.
Oh, interesting. Wow. What do you think it is about your siblings and your family that lends itself to interest in teaching?
I never really got like pushed by my siblings or my parents to do teaching or art. I kind of just gained that on my own. I really found interest in art after like the beginning of high school, near beginning of high school, elementary, around there. So that's where I really found my love for art, and teaching just kind of came naturally with it because like I kind of want to be the person there to help kids out when they really need it the most. I feel like that would be something great, like something that I could do personally.
I have one last question about bullying. That's something that has come up a lot in a lot of different conversations, and actually, it hasn't really come up at all in this one, which is pretty surprising. Have you ever been bullied?
No, I've never been bullied, but I've never really had a lot of friends per se. But I do have a nice friend group that I love to talk to all the time.
Hmm. What do you think is it that helped you to not be bullied? Is it do you think it's the kind of
It's
school you go to? Is it the kind of people that are around? What are your thoughts?
it's more of like I didn't much care for it. Like nobody really was there to bother me, and I was no really there to bother anyone else. So everybody just kind of left each other to their own anything, really.
Hmm.
Nobody was really that bad towards each other, I would say, at least towards me from what I saw.
Do you go to public school?
Public school, yeah.
Public school. Okay. Is it a pretty diverse school?
No, it's prominently white.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, I think we've hit like 1,000 topics in in like 15 minutes. Thank you for being so candid and everything. Any last words? These are actually your final words. Any last thoughts?
My final words, man, I never thought it would come to this.
This is it. This is the end.
This is it, my final words. Probably my final words is do what you like. As long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, just do what you like.
Dugan, my man, thank you so much. And
Yeah, no problem.
if you want to have a thumbnail for your video, just email me at this. Uh, yeah, the video will be uploaded in the next like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Right on there. So, thanks again, man. I
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you as well. This is a nice talk we had.
Thanks, man.
I really enjoyed it.
Cool, dude. Me too. All right.
I'll make
See
sure
you.
all my friends know about your channel too. I've had my mic down the whole time they heard all this.
Dude, well, you know what? If they want to come on and just give them my email because I'm looking for more people to come on and to talk to.
Okay, I got you.
Cool,
Yo,
man.
yo, guys, I'm gonna message you this. I'm gonna message this on Snap. I'll see you later.
All right.
This is a great talk.
All right. See you, dude.
Thank you.
Bye. Cool, dude.